tell you what, of all the things I've been doing these past 3 weeks, I think this one might actually be the hardest. Normally, when I speak here, I'm not speaking directly to anyone in particular, though some of my live streams as of late have been requested by other people. None have been as direct as this. I have been asked to address the Wharton class of 2009 by more than one person. By now, you should know better than to ask me who. I'm not going to say. And pardon, usually when I do these, I'm speaking off the cuff with a few points to guide me. This one, I felt like I owed it to everyone involved to get it right. So it's a bit more scripted than usual. So, hi, Wharton. If you know me, and if you were in my class, odds are you do, even if you wish you didn't. You probably also know that I married my classmate, Alex Fleming, and that if you know nothing else about me, you know that I am the person that says all kinds of things that no one else really wants to hear. And that's precisely why some of our classmates asked me to speak to you today, like this. When I went public on my Facebook page, public finger quotes, white people love finger quotes, public. When I went public with on my Facebook page about my son's autism diagnosis back in 2016, I was a little bit torn about it. The things we don't talk about, the things that when I say them are TMI to you, too much information, what you're saying is that it makes you uncomfortable, that you didn't want to know that thing, that you could have lived without it. Those things that we don't talk about are usually things that we're ashamed of or things that we consider to be nobody's business. My son should not be ashamed of who he is. The burden should be on you to act like a decent human being, not on him to make you comfortable. I believe that. And that starts with talking about his diagnosis now, not just as a warning to the broader community, but also to pave the way for him to be able to claim that label for himself. The week after I made that post, no exaggeration, you guys, I received more email to my Wharton email address than I did in the 2 years I spent at Wharton combined. The numbers are staggering. They're so large, they're hard to believe. At least one person in every cohort in our class, the class of 2008, class of 2010, is parenting at least one, usually more, autistic children. Nope, go over there and wait like I told you. Thank you, sir. Which means you absolutely know she's on my bed and you need to get on it too or get out. Thank you. Which means you absolutely know at least one person, probably more, from Wharton who are parenting children on the spectrum. If you combine the actual numbers with the number of students who identify, or as the world would identify as Black at Wharton, odds are overwhelming that you know somebody that falls into one of those two categories. So I tell you that to tell you why you need to care about the current movement to defund the police. The people who asked me to address you today say they've given up on you caring about Black people. They know you don't care about Black lives. So they've asked me to try to make you care about some white ones. Again, the odds are very high that you personally know at least one of the people who have made this request. Since 9/11, state and federal budgets have diverted funds from social programs to the police force. This is what we call the militarization of our police. Homeless person in your alley? Call the police. Person walking down the street flapping their arms and cursing? Call the police. Cat in the tree? Call the police. Special needs child acting out in school? Yay, the police are right there with handcuffs and guns. Despite being ill-equipped to address, much less solve these problems, we task the police with addressing every social ill that exists in America. We have effectively criminalized poverty as well as behavior issues. We've criminalized autism, and we have criminalized having dark skin. The Constitution protects my big mouth, but not your child, not my child, and not your classmates. This is something all special needs parents are aware of on some level. And the older our children get, the more scared we become. Frankly, the things I've been hearing the past 3 weeks, most of the testimony the day that I gave that roaring testimony at the Senate building, the people who were speaking on behalf of dead children before me were white. Our whiteness will not save us. We know this, and eventually yours won't save you either. We need to change what legislators task police with doing. Being tough on crime has not reduced crime, and it's cost us a fortune. Most of us at Wharton, we love some free capital markets. And so the only thing we hate more than taxes are unions. And you know who has the biggest, baddest union in the country? The police. Get fired from one precinct and you'll be picked up by another. The officers who murdered George Floyd will still receive their $1 million pensions funded by your tax dollars. Khalil Muhammad murdered an autistic child off duty in Chicago, and he still has his job. Brandon Akers, Stephen Holt, and Cody Turner do too. Joseph DeMarco, Timothy Lefevre, and Stephen Shannon still have their badges after murdering someone who was threatening suicide during a safety check, of all things. For the record, she had depression, not autism. But if you went to Wharton and you know a lot of insecure overachievers, then you know somebody with depression too. What's amazing is that I could find these names at all. We still don't know which cops murdered Elijah McClain here in Denver, and we've been screaming for that information now for 3 weeks. Now, I'll be the first to tell you that the movement needs marketing help. Defund and all the other related hashtags are really misleading. No one is saying we don't need police at all. No one. We do. We just need to rein in what our legislators task them with doing. The movement to hashtag defund the police and bust that union won't just keep your black classmates safer. It will make all of us safer. But no one's ice cream is going to be safe if they don't get out this room like I told them to. Not kidding. Every time you post inane shit to Facebook pages about how saintly and necessary the police are, or telling stories about the family member you love on the police force, or the friends you know who have had great interactions with the police, you're missing the point, and you're pissing a whole lot of people off, who then email me, I guess because no one else is going to tell you that you're an idiot, much less a racist piece of trash. No one is saying anything about your family member on the police force. No one is saying anything about police individually. We are saying the job that we, the people, have tasked humans on the police force with doing needs to change. Defund means divert money from the police budget to communities so we can solve problems rather than police everyone's behavior. To give you an idea how big these numbers are, back 20 years ago, the police budget was about 15% of a city's budget. Now it's a full third. And that number's growing. Some cities, it's even bigger. If you're listening to this and you are not a racist piece of garbage, yay, amazing. You still may not completely understand what hashtag defund means. So please take the time to read just a little bit about it. No one expects you to go full MK on this. We just want you to sit with a few thoughts. If you're pro-life, get involved. The police are committing fifth trimester abortions on Black and special needs children, and that needs to stop. They're doing it with your tax dollars. If you are a Republican, go get those police unions and free up our tax dollars. And if you're a Democrat who plans to encourage everyone to fall in line behind Joe Biden, ask your Black and Indigenous friends, your lawyer friends, your social worker friends, what the Violence Against Women Act has actually done for their respective communities. Spoiler alert, it increased police budgets. The answer might make you mad enough to protest, and it might make you think twice about shaming people who don't bother showing up to a presidential election because they're too busy doing work on the ground in their communities. Now, I get it. Who the hell am I, of all people, to tell you to watch your mouth, much less your Facebook posts? That's fair. A better question, though, would be which of your posts prompted your Black and your white friends to ask me, of all people, to tell you to get in line, to back off and think a little bit, because you might not know that you're being an asshole. For the record, it was more than one post. It was more than one person. It was more than one class. And it was way more than one request. It took me a while to address it. And for that, I'm sorry. But here we are. Wharton was an incredible shared experience that unites all of us in a very unique and tangible way. We're supposed to be a network. We're supposed to have each other's backs. An easy way to do this would be to think of all the special needs parents that you don't know that you know before you make that next strongly worded Facebook post, or even that really gentle one that positions you as someone who is neutral, thinking, above the fray, too good to take sides. You might just be the moderate white liberal that Martin Luther King warned us about. To be perfectly clear, he said that we were the biggest danger, the moderate white liberal who doesn't want to get involved and who prefers peace over everything else and does not distinguish between peace and silence. That is the biggest danger to Black people everywhere. Maybe you're not as neutral as you believe. Some of your classmates live in perpetual fear of the police. I'm one of them. I'm the mother of a special needs child. You might not be aware of us, but you know us, and we're watching you. Just because I'm the only one that's addressed you doesn't mean I'll be the last. Something to think about. I'm proud to have gone to Wharton. I love each and every one of you. I have not made a practice of reaching out individually and commenting on posts because I know how receptive people are to feedback from me, much less feedback they did not ask for. I know you didn't ask for this, but people who know you want you to hear it. Between the special needs parents and the Black students in our class, that's at least 1 in 4. So you know someone right now who cares about this issue very, very, very much. Just remember that, and remember that we are a team, or at least we're supposed to be. Thank you.